Hi everybody, and if you haven't noticed, yes, I cut my hair. That's what looks different about me. I'm sure that's the only thing that you're imagining. What I wanted to talk about today is something that I think this is probably like the millionth video you've probably watched on this topic. I think most content creators for Identity V have done some type of video, and I'm a little late, quite late. Very, very late. And why is that? That's partly because I just couldn't be bothered to make a video about this. I already talked a little bit about it in one of my news videos where I knew I would get more viewers on it anyway than one of these rambly videos. I also just didn't know what I wanted to say about it because I didn't really have any different takes that I thought that were different than anybody else. And yeah, I wanted to make sure that if I was making a post, I would make a point maybe that somebody else had mentioned before. I also wanted to see like a basic overview of what people thought on the topic before I kind of got into this. And I was a teeny bit lazy and I was also quite busy with other stuff. So it's been 3-4 weeks since I've played IDV. I have logged in a few times, mostly to watch friends' matches. A couple of people that still play IDV, they've invited me to watch some of their matches and stuff. Also to check some stuff in the game just a couple of times, but I have not participated in any of the event stuff. I've got so many red dots in the game. It's kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of satisfying that I just don't have to deal with them. But yeah, I haven't played for quite some time now. And as you guys know, I've really not done any IDV content apart from the odd community post. I haven't done any live streams or I haven't done anything like that. I've just been playing other games. It's been really good for me. But the problem is with IDV right now, if many of you aren't aware, that IDV has for the past few months, as far as I can tell, possibly even longer, has been using generative AI. So this would be kind of artificial intelligence, AI, LLM style technology, in kind of producing art for Identity V in their pieces, in their promotional pieces, for example, in the skins design, in the showcases, those types of things. It's not completely understood just how much they've used and how and where they've used this kind of technology, but we have seen art pieces that have weird things in them that just a normal artist wouldn't do. Since we made this big uproar from the Identity V community about NetEase using generative AI, I'm unsure if we've actually seen anything more from them that is obviously AI. I had a friend theorize that they actually made the generative AI art more visible so that they could kind of gauge what people's opinions were, and then they could try and rein back a little bit how much they were using it depending on how noticeable it was or what people's complaints were. Not sure if that's true, it's just a very interesting theory. Yeah, I haven't really been following IDV all that much. So you guys, if you've been following IDV's news and posts and stuff, I have not at all actually. I've barely looked at anything related to Identity V news or anything at all. You might have noticed they either have lessened how much AI art they're doing or removed it completely. But as far as I know, they have not made a single statement about it. As far as I know, nobody's pinged me and said, Phoenix, look, they've said that they're not using it. What I do know is that according to another friend of mine, one of the moderators, in one of their other games, NetEase owns quite a lot of different games, for example, Marvel Rivals, as you guys probably have heard that game before. Apparently they've substituted some art that was in that game in terms of like graffitis and stuff that were generated by AI with original art pieces from artists. So maybe they are doing this and they're not making a statement about it, but in usual NetEase fashion, they just don't announce anything. And we need them to do that. But I've also seen some really strange opinions on from the community, and this is why I wanted to make this video. There have been a lot of people who are defeatists. They're like, we're just not going to do anything, or it doesn't even matter, just keep on playing IDV, NetEase isn't going to listen to you, or I don't care, generative AI is fantastic technology. A lot of the community has very polarizing opinions, and I wanted to make the point here in this video, the whole kind of main point of this video, is that I think whatever your opinions are on generative AI, LLM technology, AI in general, even if it's good in some other places, in your opinion, Identity V is the wrong place to have this technology. This is something that I heard, I can't remember which content creator I watched. Somebody did do a video on this. I'll put their name down below. Very cool content creator. They made a point that just made me think about it. And it's like Identity V is a game that is less focused on the gameplay, at least from a community standpoint, and is more focused on the art and the feeling that it gives you, right? This game for so many players, so many people who started playing, they didn't join because they wanted a Dead by Daylight type simulator game on mobile. What they joined for, in my opinion, is, from what I can tell from an anecdotal perspective, is that they joined because they loved the vibe. They loved how the characters looked. They were like, oh, it looks like Coraline from that famous, film, book, whatever it is. And they were like, this is really, really cool. I really like the look of this character, whatever. And if you want to see more proof of this, I haven't actually checked. Of course, this poll is still going at the same time as I'm probably posting this. Whatever the results are, maybe I'm completely wrong. Yeah, maybe that poll says like 99% of players joined because of the gameplay and 1% joined because of the art. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty 50-50. It's probably going to be something like 40 or 50% joined for gameplay. And then the other 30-40%, probably even higher, maybe 40 to 50%, it's going to be something like a combination of both the characters and also the art style. But maybe it's even higher than that for the art style. Maybe it will beat the gameplay. Regardless, I think a huge chunk of the community play Identity V for the art. And that's really different than a lot of games, I think. Of course, there are some games that are heavily focused on like the style. I think like Cookie Run, Kingdom as well. All of these kind of games are heavily focused on the art style. Yeah, really, I think Identity V is just a heavily art-focused game. People join because it has a heavy vibe to it. And this just does not connect well with generative AI, because what is generative AI doing? It is, in many situations, it is replacing artists. And a lot of artists see this and they're like, well, I just wanted to see human art in this game. That's why I joined the game. It has such a niche feel to it of people who just sat down in a room and wanted to make a weird looking game, a weird, creepy looking game. And I think this will just lead to a lot of disempowerment from artists, because they'll just see that so much of the internet now is being taken up by this type of technology. And even that really niche corner of the internet that is Identity V, it's not a popular game. It's a popular game in China. In China, I think it's a completely different thing. But in the rest of the world, it's a really, really niche game that is only played by a tiny, tiny bit of community of people. If you go and tell your uncle about Identity V, they've probably never heard of it, but they've probably heard of CSGO and stuff like that, if you get my point. Artists are just going to start feeling that they're losing control. I also wanted to mention that a lot of the people that are playing Identity V are people at the end of high school, or people who are going into upper education, like university, college, all of these different things. And these people are usually people who are creatives. They're people who started playing Identity V for, when they were younger, and they've kind of grown with it. This art has really influenced who they are. And because it's such a heavily art-focused game, it's probably made them want to go into some type of creative sphere, be it clothing design, photo editing, all these types of things. People want to go into these things because that's what the Identity V community is most commonly. This game has heavily influenced an artist community more than any other game I think that I'm aware of. And another point here is that if you want more proof of this, Identity V is heavily focused on skins. It's all about what this new art is, this new skin that's releasing, and everyone wants to buy this one for their character. They really, really love this. Of course, there's a lot of lore-related stuff. There's a lot of shipping. It's like, I like this character with this character. You'll notice that so much of Identity V is really the stuff that's outside of the main gameplay. Like, apart from the fact that you're complaining about the new hunter being strong or weak, or occasionally talking about things like ping being a problem, you'll notice that the main thing about Identity V is just so heavily focused on the aspects of the game as a whole outside of it. Who is this character? What are they doing? I really like the look of this character. When is this new skin releasing? When is this new event releasing? None of that is gameplay centered. It's really all just creative. I've had a lot of people talking about why they have stopped playing the game. But I've also seen a lot of people who have decided not to stop playing the game. And I'm not going to go after you, and I hope nobody in the comments goes after you in an aggressive way, because I understand why you continue to play the game. I understand why you do it. You enjoy the game, it's fun, it's exciting, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's important that you consider to not play the game. I keep on having to stand up to fix things in the room, things keep on falling apart. Sorry about that. Why is spending money in Identity V, why is not spending money in Identity V so important? Not spending money in Identity V right now is very important because it just shows netties, it shows a signal to netties that what they're doing is wrong. They need to make a statement. The community is not happy with what they're doing. And NetEase really does need strong signals. And the only way to do that really is through not spending money, because they are heavily money focused. Just look at how expensive the things are in this game. But how about not playing the game? Some people argue that, well, I'm not spending money on the game, so then if I can keep on playing it and enjoying it, it's not going to, I'm still sending the signal to NetEase that what they're doing is wrong. Yes and no. I do think that there is a very strong argument as to not playing the Identity V game itself. And that is that by playing the game itself, you are boosting how this game is performing in the algorithms, for example, on the internet, how it is in the Play Store, the App Store, all of these different things, player numbers. You're also signaling to NetEase that what they're doing isn't bad enough that you're not playing the game. It's just that you're not going to spend some money. And NetEase might not know if the reason why you're not spending money is because maybe you just don't have your paycheck this month. A lot of people take breaks from spending, and it hasn't really been all that long since we started complaining or talking about all of this generative AI stuff. So a lot of players are probably just not spending, not relative to or not connected to the generative AI issue in the first place, but mostly just because they haven't got any money to spend right now. As you guys know, the world is not in an amazing place right now. It really isn't showing NetEase that what they are doing isn't bad enough that you would stop playing the game. You're just going to keep on playing it. And if you decide to play the game, you are by virtue saying this, because you have the choice not to do it. You have the choice to play other games. Nobody is holding you at gunpoint to play Identity V. So your morals need to be, you need to put into check what your morals are. Are your morals more important than you playing a game a few times a day? In my opinion, you need to step up and make that decision, but that is up to you in the end. I've also seen a lot of people who've put in the comment sections, not just under my videos, but also into other things and other posts and stuff like that, saying that it doesn't even matter. NetEase is just going to do this anyway. The whole world is doing this right now. Generative AI is so popular, so many people are spending money on it, and it's just being put everywhere. NetEase is going to do this anyway because they are a money-centered company, and this just means that they can pay artists less and they can get more stuff done for free. And you're right. But you're wrong. You're basically using the argument of appeal to irrelevance or appeal to futility, that it doesn't matter, things are just not going to change anyway, so what's the point of me doing anything? Because, well, let's just make that argument about anything in life. If right now, if people had just done this during the French Revolution, where would we be right now, right? Or any of these other things. America would not exist as a country the way that it is right now if the American Revolution had not happened, because they could have just sat back and gone, well, to be honest, that's a lot of work and, we can't change it anyway, right? We might as well just give up. Change happens because of individuals. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't really understand. But if you make a change, that does change something. It changes more than you realize it changes. If you change and people are aware that you've made this change, other people will look at you and go, okay, well, this person's done it, maybe I should do it too. But if you don't do it and your friend doesn't do it and their friend doesn't do it and their grandma doesn't do it, then nobody does it. But we need more individuals to make a big collective. Your actions do matter as an individual. Appealing to futility is really just an argument of I can't be bothered to do anything about it. It's not showing that there is nothing that you can do about it, but it's that you can't be bothered to think of anything that you could do. You don't use that for any other arguments in the end of the day, right? It's like, well, I might as well just not get up today because I know I'm not going to be able to be rich in a few years' time. I won't be able to afford this when I'm older. You can make that argument if you want to, but it's not going to get you anywhere in life. You need to start taking individual actions. There are some things that you morally need to stand up to, and maybe you don't agree with everything that everyone's saying. That is completely okay. You can have your own personal opinions. Is there something that you don't agree with? Or do you think that what the community is standing up for is an important enough thing to them that you think that their kind of values, even if you don't share them, should at least be implemented because so many people care about it? Then even if you disagree with the opinions or you just are neutral about the opinions, how about you ask them what can you do to be able to kind of support what they're pushing for? So what can you as an individual do about all of these problems? Well, I think the first thing that you can start doing is you can continue creating art. Create art, create law, create discussions online about things outside of the gameplay itself. Talk about Identity V with your friends. Talk about all of those things that you've loved talking about, and don't stop making creative pieces. Keep on doing that and show netties that that aspect of the game is what is keeping the game alive, not whatever they're making for free by generating it. Second, consider not playing the game. We talked about this. It does send a big signal. Definitely don't spend money on the game. And if you want to be vocal about it. Go onto their community posts, go onto their Twitter, and do post some very cleverly worded and very succinct and kind, poignant points about whatever you think the problem is. But basically, interact more with the community itself than the game itself if you really have this itch for something related to Identity V. Another thing, don't attack other people. Talk to them in a proper way about it. Present them with some of these things that I talked about in this video and some other arguments that you may have come up with. Some people just don't share the same values that you do, but maybe they do, they just haven't really thought about it the way that you do. Shouting at them and calling them stupid and calling them this is really not going to open them up to discussion. It's just going to shut them down, and you need more people, and we need more people on our side in this topic. And again, even if they do agree with generative AI, present them with this idea of, well, it just doesn't fit in Identity V, and so much of the community is art focused, and they know that as well. Another thing, please don't do this, is don't attack content creators that are still making Identity V content. I have talked about this in a community post recently, and it's a bit of a controversial topic. I think a lot of people are angry at people who are still playing the game, but I think most people have made a stand on this topic. They're just still continuing to make Identity V content, and that's mostly because they don't have anything else to do. They're making some money, or quite a lot of money. I actually have no idea how much money people are making, because I don't really make any money from this at the moment, and they're all in the Identity V community supporting groups that I'm in those Discord servers, but I have not read for months. I just never really cared about those things after some issues I had personally with netties. I know that there are some support programs where they can earn money from things. This is a big livelihood thing for them, and I do think that's a problem. I do think that these creators really should think about doing other things related to, that's not Identity V, but that's very hard and it takes a lot of time. So what can you do? Support those content creators. Tell them what you would like them to be doing. Don't tell them what they should stop doing, or that they are horrible people because they're doing this or that. Tell them what you love about their content, why you love them as a content creator, and support them. That money that you were putting towards Identity V, put it towards the people that you're watching. Not me, because I don't really get any value from you guys sending me money, because I just don't get that money currently. Go and send it to Kuroshiro, Geisha Gaming, who else? Other people, Silmina, tons of other content creators, and there are so many of them, even the smaller ones that you just love to watch. Send them the money. Go and give them donations. Some of you guys are spending $200, $300, $400, $600 in Identity V month after month. You could be changing people's lives, content creators' livelihoods, just by supporting with this amount of money. If you would love to see this person playing this other game, go and support them. If you see that they're playing Identity V and they're having a difficult time, give them money. If you see that they're playing Identity V and they love it, give them money and support. And if you can't give them money because whatever reason, just support them with kind comments, giving them likes, telling them that you appreciate their content, because that really is going to help them to, make better decisions about what they want to do with their channel, and hopefully broaden their variety or change game a little bit more, so that they don't have to rely on netties, because netties does not care about you, does not care about me. Never has. If they did, they would have made some more community posts regarding some of the issues that we've had for a very, very long time, not just the generative AI stuff. But anyway, I think I've talked for a very, very long time, and I'm not sure how much of this I cut out. I did make some mistakes here and there, but yeah, I think I'm done. I've got through all of the notes. My notes are a little bit random. I didn't really organize them very well. But yeah, I hope this was interesting. I probably said but yeah or yeah quite a lot in this video, but that's fine. Have a lovely rest of your day, and please, please, please be kind to people. That's the only way that you're going to get through to them. Be kind, be intellectual, think about what you're going to say. Don't get angry, and I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.